Hi there, it's Allison Graham here, and I know COVID-19 has us all asking, what do I do? And the truth is, nobody has an answer. We're all in this together. What I want to share with you, though, is a concept that I teach is one of my resiliency frameworks, and I think this will help give you a little bit of perspective and empower you to get solution focused on the things that you can deal with and find a way to get back on your feet in these really uncertain, unclear times. Now, I know this is a true adversity, and this model is basically we're going to take everything you have to deal with, all of the challenges, the things that we have to go through and do in our lives, and we're going to separate them into tasks, obstacles, and adversity. And here's why. Because often what we do is we end up bucketing all of these things under the word stresses, right? They're stressors. Well, no, they're things that need to get dealt with. And adversity is very different, but you're experiencing one adversity, we all are, COVID-19, and from that are a bunch of obstacles and a bunch of tasks that need to be dealt with. So let's look at it this way. Let's say you and I, and we're about to go on a walk. And I know my, clients who have heard me speak at conferences have heard this before, and this is the time to put this framework into practice. Okay, so let's say we were going on a walk, and we had a goal to go 5 kilometers, and when we get to the end, we're going to have this big celebration, and we'll get to there. So the task is you and I walking or jogging to the finish line. Now, if these were different times, I would be doing a video and we'd be talking about how do you most efficiently accomplish that task. Right now, that's not an issue. Efficiency is not what we're going to deal with in this video. The next thing are obstacles. And obstacles, if we were on this walk on the path, would essentially be we're walking along and all of a sudden there's a log in front of us. The path we were on still exists, except now we have to figure out how do we get over the log. Do we jump over it? Do we go under it? Do we go around it? Do we blow it up? Do we move it out of the way? What do we do to get past this log? Now, the key here, though, is to realize that the path we were on still exists. Okay? Adversity is different. Adversity is a catastrophic external force that will forever change the way you know your life to be. We're walking on a path. All of a sudden, there is an earthquake, and in front of us is a sinkhole. The path we were on no longer exists. Now, often when I'm talking with audiences, it's usually every person is dealing with a different type of adversity in our lives. Maybe they've got a diagnosis or some sort of health challenge. Maybe they've lost somebody they love. They've gone through a massive breakup and they're upset about it. There's so many different types of adversity, and rarely are we all going through one together. And in this case, we are absolutely going through the adversity together. Now, people will say we need to be resilient, and I absolutely believe that, but there are 2 types of resilience. There's our big life event resilience, which is actually human instinct. Okay, so no matter what, we're going to get through it unless, of course, we're one of the unfortunate people who pass away, and I hope they get it under control so that we have fewer people in our world passing away from COVID-19. That's an adversity. But everything, like if we live through it, human instinct is going to take you through. Now, you may cry, it may not be pretty, you may be completely useless in terms of productivity. That's okay. The truth is you got to go through the shock, the denial, the grieving process. Okay, so that's our human instinct resilience. But on the other side of the resilience spectrum is what I call daily resilience, and our ability, whether we're going through a big adversity or resilience moment or not, is our ability to deal with the day-to-day, all of the little things that are the obstacles that we face. Okay, so You're going to get through this, but let's break this down. I want to focus on the daily resilience, which is really what are the things we're facing underneath that big R resilience moment in your life. Okay. I'm going to do this on a whiteboard because I think if you and I were in a room together, which we can't be, I would draw this out on a flip chart. And so let's do that as best we possibly can. All right. So let's look at this. We have things we need to deal with are our tasks. We have obstacles. And we have adversity. In this case, I'll just put a singular because we're dealing with the COVID-19. Now, when we look at these, our level of control, and you're already hearing a lot of experts out there talking about your control continuum, the circle of control. It's so important in this case because with adversity, we actually have very little control over what's happening. With our tasks, we have very high level of control over what's happening. And with obstacles, we have not always a ton, but I'm going to say a heck of a lot more than we probably give ourselves credit for. So I'll maybe make the arrow like this. Now, our focus of what we want to achieve in these times is very different. So remember, an adversity is that sinkhole. It's a catastrophic external force that will forever change the way you know your life to be. And so here, what we need to focus on is our personal healing. How do we come to grips with what happened? How do we stay safe? We go back to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's the basics. This is like big R resilience. You got to get through it. And, just that emotional roller coaster, all of that is tied up in the adversity. With obstacles, our focus has to be finding solutions. So being solution focused. And with our tasks, we really want to be looking at how our efficiencies, right? And obviously right now, efficiency is not the priority. It's amazing how this will take over anything else that's going on. Okay. So now here's where you're like, all right, well, Allison, right now we're dealing with COVID-19. Totally get that. But here's the thing. From an adversity always comes obstacles. And from obstacles, when we find solutions, come new tasks. Now, because right now our priority is dealing with an adversity and it's taken over everything else and overshadowed, generally what happens is instead of working down, so now we're working through an adversity and we've got to, deal with our obstacles and our tasks. Normally what we'd be doing is we'd have, so many tasks to get done. That creates a new obstacle. If we haven't dealt with the obstacle, that ultimately creates an adversity in the form of burnout, health diagnosis, job loss, etc. But right now, that's not the direction we're going in. So let's get rid of that. And let's focus on the direction that we're dealing with. I wish you could talk to me. You know what? I'll do more of these programs live. This is so pivotal, and I've helped some people through things, through this process because, hey, I've got time. I got time to help people. I mean, goodness knows I'm not getting on an airplane anytime soon to go to speak at a conference. So if you need help, you let me know. I'm here for you because I know we're all in this together. Okay, so COVID-19. So the first thing we're going to ask is I want you to write out a list. So where are we going to make I'm going to make a new thing here. Oh, did I do it right? Yeah, I still have that. We're going to go here. Number 1, I want you to write a list of everything. Okay, that might be a long list for some of you that you need to deal with. Okay, because here's why. Because right now everything will get overshadowed with the adversity. And it will take over. And what I want you to do is feel empowered and get really clear on this, because then what we want to do is we want to choose, is it a task, an obstacle, or an adversity? Okay. And then we're going to go, okay, how do I best serve my healing? How do I find a solution, and what are the things that need to get done out of that. All right, let's go back here. So we've got this. So COVID-19, the next question. So once we know what's the issue that I'm dealing with, and we've separated them into adversity, obstacles, and tasks, then I want you to do the control form. All right, just go, what's in no control over? And what do I have a high level of control over, or at least a little bit of control? So for example, you do not have control over the government's reaction. So any moment that you spend obsessing over the fact that the people in charge are not doing what they need to do is time wasted from your healing, which is what I want for you, is to be healing. And then the things that are within your control, finding solutions for, and then finding a way to continue those tasks. All right. What is within your control? Check. We're going to go your attitude. I mean, all of those things, your kindness, the way you approach this, doing this checklist, watching this video. Congratulations for being somebody who is very, proactively finding ways to deal with this. Okay, so that's helpful. Once we know that, then I want you to write from this adversity everything that becomes an obstacle, new or old. Could be an old problem, but anyway, what are the obstacles? So for example, maybe you can't get toilet paper. I think you need to relax about that. Sorry, that was my funny joke. It may not have been that funny. Okay. Supplies, very real issue. Okay. I think though the one, let's talk about it the most, is money. We're all scared about money, unless you people who actually put months and months and have lots of wealth and don't have anything in the market and you're just sitting on a pile of cash. I love you. I think you're amazing, and I'm not you. So the fact that my business blew up and my cash flow is gone, I mean, being really transparent and open, is scary, right? But when I put that fear into it, essentially what I'm doing is, when we're walking on that path, to me, the business model is not an adversity. It is if it doesn't, if I'm not in business in 3 days, but even then I'll find another way to do it. I'll find something else to do. I've been doing this for 16 years. It's gonna be okay. All right. So this is an obstacle, and I know a lot of us are dealing with it. Just what are we going to do? Right. So what are some other obstacles? Well, you can fill in the blanks for yours. So from there, now we've got a list of obstacles. Do you see how these are different than the adversity? This is where we get empowered. So now we take this and we go into solution-focused mode. And we say, okay, I need supplies for my family. We want to look at it very objectively. What is the issue? What do I need? If the stores are not available, can you order it online? Thank you to all of the places who are knocking down on price gouging. Well done. That's important. Is there someone who you can call, a neighbor who is stockpiling, somebody who can help? And also, give our stores a little bit of time to get restocked. Apparently, they're doing the right thing, and they're working on that. Okay, so that though, play with all this. If I go supplies, and we just went solution focused, did you see what happened? I just came up with like 5 or 6 different tasks. Look online, call neighbor, right? Social media, ask. And so then what we do is we can work our way up, because we can't solve this. So all we can do is focus on this. That's where we have our control. Now, let me draw this out when it comes with our business, okay? clean it up a little bit. And let's say money is the issue in our cash flow. And I'm going to even say business model is the issue because I haven't focused enough on my online or, when I lowered my coaching practice, which is virtual. So that means I don't have speaking, my revenue drips, but that's okay. So now I go from here. This is the issue. Go solution focus. And so now I want to come up with a whole bunch of tasks that will help me solve that problem. Number one, I truly believe in a service model, and that's not necessarily going to make me any money, and that's okay because if I can help other people through this time, then you know what? I believe that eventually things will work themselves out and it'll be okay. So number one, I've made it a huge priority for me to just help and focus, and I recognize there are other people much, much, much worse off than I am. And I'm going to do everything I can to offer insights. I mean, I've been teaching resilience for years. I have a book on resilience. I want to, now is the time that people actually care about resilience. So I'm going to give you everything I possibly can, okay? So that's number one. Second thing, virtual. I want to be sure that my clients who still have budgets available all know that I can do anything that we wanted to do or that we do want to do to help their teams through it virtually, and I can adjust that way. Online programming, obviously that's something I want to be sure I have available. I think what people are willing to look at right now is probably going to shift. So the programs, for example, my one program on in-person networking, probably not the number one priority for people right now. So it would be pretty daft of me if I were to try to sell that, right? Okay, so that's not going to work. And then from there, so those are my solutions. So now this is that, oh, here, I'll do it like this. So it's kind of going like this. And now from there, I can, all these tasks, record videos, okay, write blogs, right? Another thing, so solution, need less money. So let's, tighten the belt, tighten the wallet, cut expenses, right? So in order to do that, I would, review the budget, look at what all the expenses are. So we just break it down until it doesn't feel overwhelming anymore. Okay, because here, this is where we have control. This is where we need to have a clear head to get and find solutions. And this is what we just have to go through, folks. So I told you at the beginning, I don't have an answer. I don't have an answer to solve this. And I don't really know what you need to do here. But I know that if you take this and you work your way down, okay, and if you work and you just say, okay, what's everything I need to do? And you come here and work your way down here and then focus on doing this. And here's the thing. Sometimes this is nothing. If your reality is you've got to just focus on your healing, like emotionally and whatever, then you just got to step away for a little bit and the problem's still going to be there tomorrow. And that's fine. Like just, and I did a blog post about how to survive social isolation a little bit. I mean, again, that's going to have a lot of challenges to go with it. But again, that would fall into this obstacle category. Okay, not into the adversity category, having 3 or 4 weeks on your own. Okay, so we got to have perspective on what requires. So I hope that makes sense for you. I hope you find that helpful. If I go to this other whiteboard and come back with a to-do list, because we want to have tasks. So then what we want to do is from our adversity, determine the flow. Adversity to obstacle to tasks. Okay, so that you can create that other side, right? Like where it goes, and then do the tasks. That's it. That's all. This is the only place we're going to feel like we have control. That's it. Can't do the others. And if you don't do these, then the adversity is just going to even get worse. Okay, so I hope that helps you. I'm going to stop this screen share, come back to you up here. I know that was much longer than I anticipated it was going to be. Obstacle, not an adversity. My hope is it will give you perspective. Sit down, whiteboard it. Pen and paper is how I did mine, and just do what you can. But here's the one thing I will say: when in doubt, be kind. Help people you can. Yes, we're all in this together, and it's a shit show. Like, people are panicking. Really, my hope is that this framework will give you perspective and will help you get out of that panic mode. And please read the blogs that I did, share them, give them to other people if it helps your team. I am obviously doing virtual programming if your team needs some help. If you are secure and you have a budget available, I am totally accepting. If you are not and you are on the verge of holy sugar, I don't know what to do, reach out to me. I will help. I will find a way to, I've got time. Like I said, I'm not going on any airplanes. But if you're in that much trouble, reach out to me and I can do a session with you or your team to help you. I mean, please don't abuse that, but I am here to serve. And if you still have a budget and think some of these concepts that I share would be helpful, please let me know. I can do it virtually. But as I've said, we're in it together and we'll get through it together. Big R Resilience says we have to. We just don't have a choice. Let's get through it though as best we can. Okay? # in this together.